I don't give a shit about that. This proves it once again that you don't know shit. So listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. I don't give a shit about that. This proves it once again that you don't know shit. So listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. I don't give a shit about that. This proves it once again that you don't know shit. So listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. So listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. Ah, geez. I don't give a shit about that. This proves it once again that you don't know shit. So listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. Ah, geez. I don't give a shit about that. This proves it once again that you don't know shit. So listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. Ah, geez. Listen. No, he didn't. I was nowhere near there. It was no. Ah, geez. Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of Boxing Bantz with Max the Viking page and of course me, Andy the Nightmare. How you doing, pal?
Yes, mate, I'm all good. All lovely. You?
Yeah,
Self?
not too bad, not too bad. And I just want to give a massive thanks to Cornbread for sponsoring our show. If you would like to become a sponsor of the show, we're more than happy to take your cash and you get exposed to 500,000 people every month. Also, don't forget to download our app. It is available on the App Store and, of course, on the Play Store. And you can join in with the conversation and vote for who you think actually won the fight and rewatch some of the old fights. And, of course, we have launched our brand new boxing channel, 24/7 boxing. It's called fttvboxing.com. It's totally free. Go and check it out and watch all the boxing what you've got. Great fights, boxing commentaries, and there's going to be added about 25 different boxing channels as they develop over the year. Anyway, so let's hit down with some boxing news. Some great results last night. Not for our own John Ryder, sadly, following his defeat. And Max, you're interviewing me. Go, son.
Right. Before we get back onto last night's boxing, I just want to ask your opinion as a former boxer yourself. What do you think on the American Boxing Board sanctioning transgender boxing?
Okay, now, right, before I go into it too deep, we've got to remember to cut the swearing because we were told off by Facebook last time, so let's try to remember that because I was just about to react. Right, let me tell you what I think about it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Listen, I don't care whether you've got higher testosterone levels like our friend Berbatibiev, right? Or whether you've got low testosterone levels like our friend Nina Hughes, okay? It doesn't matter. Physically, if you're born male, you are going to have an unfair advantage. That could be height, it could be weight, it could be strength, it could be a number of different things. Your body, for the most part of its beginning, is beginning as it's what it was genetically designed to do, regardless of what your feelings and emotions are. I'm all for people having their own opinion and wanting to be what they wanted to be. You know, from my point of view, there could be a two-legged horse in the national. That's what they could identify as. I'm not interested, right? But what I am interested in, and I've said it time and time again, in this sport and MMA, it's the only two jobs in the world where you can legally kill someone.
Yeah,
but
it's like when we spoke to Nina on Thursday. Thursday, we asked her the question: would you fight or will you be fighting a man? And she went, no. There's no way. Open hell. Why don't they, if they want it in the sport, have their own category? Trans fighting trans.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm not saying they can't be in the sport. I think it's a great idea. However, you've got to stay in lane. That's the way I see it, right? That is the way I see it.
Yeah,
It's the equivalent.
Can you imagine?
Go on, mate.
Listen, can you imagine Nina Hughes stepping into the ring and she turns around and her opponent is Anthony Joshua?
Well, it ain't going to happen because Anthony Joshua's a heavyweight. More likely Sonny Edwards. But do you know what I mean? That's totally the same thing. That's totally the same thing. You know, just because he's decided to put on a dress today, and that's what it is. And I just think it's got no place in boxing, right? To do intergender fighting. Right, I mean, there was a young lass, sorry, I can't remember her name, jumps out at me now, got sparked out by a sparring opponent, and there was massive controversy over that. Was it Clarissa Shields? Or
Yeah, it was Clarissa Shields,
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, there's massive controversy in that.
And Clarissa, you know, she can hold her own as well, you know, probably punch up most men. But
well, do you know what?
Again,
I was down at Shane McGuigan's, right? And Caroline Dubois, I wouldn't get in the ring with her, and I'm 3 times her size, right? and Will Jones, who you know is a great friend of the show, and I've seen him a few times, been down to their gym over there in Romford, and he's got a couple of tasty young lasses in there. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to punch up one of them either because they beat me up. I'm too old.
But again, like I've done a video on it, and I think it's disgraceful. It shouldn't even be happening. Why are they even sanctioning it?
No, I mean the world's gone to a crazy place.
It's all equal rights and that, but you can't do it.
No, it's
it's
not about
the sports.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to compete. Trans people, that's down to them, right? In my opinion, everyone's got the right to pull on a set of boxing gloves and represent themselves, represent their country, represent what they believe in. I get that. But it's not about what you represent. This is about what is genetically fair. And it can't carry on. It's absurd. And for the American Boxing Association to sit there and say, no, that's all right. That's all right. No, that can happen. Something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong here, and it just isn't right. Anyway, guys, hit us up with your comments. You know, what do you think about what's going on in the world?
Yeah, we'd like to hear what you've got to say about this transgender being allowed to happen in America. You know, I think Nina did put her straight. She said, I think it's only in the amateurs. Wasn't it?
No, it doesn't matter whether it's in the amateurs or the pros.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, it's not going on the professional level. It's going to start there. If it goes okay, it will enter the professional. It shouldn't enter at all.
Do you know what? Everything starts small.
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem.
Yeah. So, getting on to another subject, let's talk about Fury Usyk for a sec. Right? Because obviously, Fury's the one always banging on, being mouthy, sticking it on people.
Right.
And I've got a little statement here from Usyk himself. Right, I want to hear your opinion after this. Usyk says Tyson Fury is the one who talks too much. The idea is to get into my head, but in reality, I'm in Tyson's head. Do you think that's right? You think Usyk's in Tyson's head?
Listen,
because we all know Tyson Fury is a master at mind games.
Now listen. Let's have it right, okay? Now, guys, we obviously in the media we obviously get closer to these fighters than a lot more of you guys have ever been, right? So we actually get to talk to them, we actually get to see how they react behind the camera and different things like that. Usyk is one of the best boxers ever to lace up a set of gloves. I want to put that out there before
Usyk,
before I say anything else. But when you take the gloves away, he's like the class clown, right? And he's a happy chappy. He's a strong, faithful guy. He's got all these massive qualities as well. But I don't think he lives in Tyson's head, right? And I'll tell you why I don't think he lives in Tyson's head, because there's not enough room for anyone else in Tyson's head, right? The man is always thinking. Tyson Fury is always thinking about. But on the same token, I don't think Fury is in Usyk's head. I think what's in Usyk's head right now is, how do I fight the biggest fighter I've ever fought before, who's probably the best fighter I've ever fought before, and I can't knock anyone out, right? Now, you've got to sit there as an Usyk guy thinking, I watched this man take right-handers off a guy like Deontay Wilder, allegedly the hardest-hitting heavyweight to have ever laced gloves, right?
Yeah.
And he'd get up and he'd come back. I mean, to quote a quote, right, when Duke was talking to Apollo about Rocky, I saw you beat that man. like I've never seen an old man get beat before, and the guy kept coming after you, right? So someone should have said that. I know he doesn't need to knock him out to win, as Martin's just pointed out. So thanks very much for joining in, Martin. If you do want to say anything, do drop some messages in the chat. But he's absolutely right. He doesn't have to knock him out. But you've got to get to him to knock him out.
Yeah, listen, I just thought, why are you saying that? Like, Fury's got to get to him. I watched the clip of Jake Paul when Tyson Fury walked into him, right? And after he went, I've never been so afraid. He was about 6 foot away from me, and all of a sudden his fist come at my head. Well, I just cracked me up. You know what I mean? So that's one thing Usy's got to get over. He's got to get over. His arms are probably over 5 foot long. You know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? I think you've got two great heavyweights, right? And I think you can honestly say, I can honestly say with a hand on heart, I don't believe Usyk has the power to knock him out.
No, I don't think he's got the power to knock him out, but
I believe
he dances
Fury
around him and
has the power to knock Usyk out. But more importantly, I think Fury has got the power to take his body out. Now look what he did to Wilder. He put Wilder down with a body shot. That had never happened before. You know? Now, Martin's just said, hey, got inside to Valuev and David can beat Goliath. Yeah, he can, but Valuev was nothing like a Tyson Fury. Valuev was a 7'2" robot. I mean, he was a big lump. And it was kind of like him punching on a stone. That's what it was for David Haye.
Yeah, I remember David Haye fighting him, yeah.
Yeah, so I think as well, when you look at the whole situation as it is, I mean, it's a great story, isn't it? The first undisputed heavyweight champion for over 20 odd years.
Yeah, no, I think Lennox Lewis is the last one, wasn't
he? Yeah, but and in the 4-5 belt era, depends if you count one of them, it'll be the first. So I think, you really have got to sit down and evaluate, what is and what isn't possible. But as far as Usyk living in Tyson Fury's head, not a hope in the world. And as far as Tyson living in Usyk's head, not a hope in the world. I think the fact there's a natural language barrier there. So when we talk to Usyk or Alex Krasuk, he doesn't actually fully understand what we're asking. But he's got a good idea. So he can't live in his head.
Especially me, I can't speak English properly.
Well, that's it. It's like, is it a greedy belly? But I tell you what, but the really thing is, I absolutely love both of these guys, right? I really do. I really have a soft spot for Alexander Usyk, and I said to K2 Promotions, which is his management company, I'd love to be able to cut him in half and see the red, white, and blue of Great Britain inside there, because I just love the guy. I mean, he was sitting there when we were in Poland, dancing around in the ring, juggling and all sorts. Yeah, nothing is phasing this guy.
Yeah, it's like he ain't got a care in the world. Nothing's phasing him. He's not bothered about who he's going to be fighting. He's there for the crowd. He's such a people man. You know what I mean? And that's what makes him what I'd call a people's champion.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's quality.
He's not flash, is he? He's not a flash geezer, is he? He's not at all.
He's absolute top draw. He is absolute top draw. And I think at the end of the day, I would say that Usyk has got more to win. If Fury wins, he's already got all these belts in his trophy cabinet. Okay, so there's not a lot in there, I think.
Well, how many belts has Fury got?
Fury's had them all. When he beat
right now to offer
the WBC in the Ring magazine title, right. And of course the lineal, which is just words on a paper, but he's. The Ring magazine heavyweight champions, the guy's won twice, right? He's got the WBC. He won the IBF, the IBO, the WBA, and the WBO, all off of Klitschko. Then was stripped, obviously, when he went through his drug problems and his weight gain. I mean, there's nothing else to put in his trophy cabinet. Okay, so you've got to ask, why is Tyson Fury fighting? Now, if you watch the Netflix series, Tyson Fury says he's fighting because he can't live without boxing. Yeah. But Tyson Fury can live without being in the ring.
I think Fury can't. I think Fury's addicted to money.
Well, isn't everyone? I mean, if someone's going to sit there and pay me 60 million quid to get punched in the face, you damn sure better believe I'm going to do it. Even with Macular Edema and Red
I've jumped in with Usyk and Fury at the same time for like $500,000. They can both punch me up.
One each side of the head.
Yeah. If they could catch me.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah, I have my running shoes on.
Yeah, welcome, James, over there on Insta. Nice to see you, of course. Do drop us a hi, guys. We're more than happy to reply to any questions that you may have, or you can make a statement. We'll certainly read them out here.
Well, I'm going to make a statement now.
Okay, so we're moving on, are we? Go on, off we go. Next question.
Right. Does Joshua become number 1 ranked if he beats Ngannou?
Listen, I'm surprised he's not number 1 ranked now.
Well...
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. All of those Ngannou lovers and all of those people out there, all of those people out there, Ngannou ain't gonna last. Ngannou isn't gonna last. Listen, I mean, he's gonna make one mistake. He stood there and did that.
Everyone said that about Andy Ruiz. What's this fat boy gonna do?
Hang on. Whoa. Right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, right? Tyson Fury made the exact same mistake that Anthony Joshua made against the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? That's what he did. He made that mistake. But let's not have it anyway. Andy Ruiz is a dangerous heavyweight fighter.
A heavy hitter.
And he is. And one thing I swear Joshua forgot to get him is the geezer's Mexican. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he forgot that.
He can be shit at boxing. He's Mexican.
He ain't no shit at boxing, right? Andy Ruiz. And don't be swearing, right? And when Joshua came out, you're right, Martin. When Joshua came out, there was something wrong. I was watching it. I was around my brother-in-laws and my sisters, and I was watching it. I looked at Kirk and I said, "He ain't right." Kirk went, "Nah, this ain't gonna go." I said, "He's gonna be out by 5." Do you know what I mean? I looked at it like that, and that was heartbreaking for me because seeing Josh 2012 Olympic Games, all the rest of it. He had a real rags to riches story. Boxing once again saved his life as it's done so many others, and yeah, something was wrong that night. And this is where you have to sit down and look at... You've got to admire Anthony Joshua for not turning off the programme, just like he did when the Dillian White fight fell through for the second time because of a drugs failure by Dillian White, who we haven't heard of, by the way. He could have said, "No, well, I ain't getting the money. There's no money in it for me. I'm not fighting." And he went, no, everyone else needs to get paid. Stayed on the card, and it was all given away free of charge. Pay-per-view was off.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, respect to for Joshua for thinking of others. He didn't have to. He's sitting pretty anyway. He don't need the money. But yeah, he stepped forward, stepped up. But that night with Ruiz, he, like you said, he wasn't right, and I don't think he took him serious enough. He probably looked at him and went, "What's this 20-stone fat boy gonna do to me?"
Yeah, well, what is a 19-stone MMA fighter gonna do? Do you know what I Martin, you might be able to back me up on this. Thanks very much for joining me on the show. Don't back him up, Martin. It might be able to back him up for this, right? Listen, muscle is 5 times heavier than fat, right?
Yeah.
5 times heavier than fat. And Ngannou's carrying a lot of it. Ngannou will be...
Well, listen, so is Joshua. Yeah, but Joshua carrying a lot of muscle.
Yeah, but Joshua is already conditioned to do 12 rounds, right? And Ngannou, mark my words, is going to be blowing out of his bottom. See, I didn't swear there. Inside of 4 rounds. We've got a bet, guys, right? The bet is that Joshua puts him around, puts away Ngannou before the end of the 4th.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've got to buy Max lunch.
Yep. I can't wait.
And Martin's right. When AJ was at his heaviest, he gassed quickly. And I think he learnt a lot.
Yeah, but I think AJ's going to come in heavy because of the size of Ngannou.
I don't think so. I think you're going to see AJ around the bottom 17s. And that might sound a bit crazy, but I think he's going to outmaneuver Ngannou. And I just hope we don't see any nonsense from Ngannou like we saw him again in the Fury fight. One thing I hate, right, is that flying Superman punch.
Superman punch. I don't think he'll do that again. because obviously he must have been told that was probably what lost you in the fight with Fury.
Mm.
But listen, with these two, they're two massive men, and I believe even now, I've said it from the start. I think who lands that first punch, first decent one, is game over.
I don't know.
Listen, we'll know Joshua hasn't got a chin.
He hasn't got a chin.
Listen, he gets whacked, and he don't know where he is.
Hasn't got a chin. So when was he counted out flat on his back?
Well, no, not me. He hasn't been counted out, but he's lost fights by taking a whack, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ngannou, he's taking some whacks, and I think his chin's is going to be stronger. But all will be revealed on the night.
Listen, Joshua got up against Ruiz. Ruiz couldn't keep him down. He got up against Klitschko.
I didn't say he'd been knocked out.
Everybody, right? Everybody he fought, right? That fought Fury as well. He's banged them out, right? And Fury didn't. That's fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not arguing.
Right. That's actual fact. And if you think that someone like Vladimir Klitschko was slower for Anthony Joshua than he was for Tyson Fury, you got nothing coming. I mean, for Tyson Fury, Klitschko didn't even look like he had a spirit. But for Anthony Joshua,
he was at the end of his.
Yeah, but he fought better against Joshua than he did against Fury. No way. If you go and watch the fight against Fury and watch the fight against Joshua from Vladimir Klitschko, you would believe they were two separate fighters. You would have believed the world champion was the one who fought AJ, not the one who fought Fury, because he didn't do anything. I mean, it was just like he was lost. He had no answer for Fury's 52-foot long arms. Really didn't. Right. Anyway, let's get off this whole Fury, AJ, heavyweight stuff. Give me some more news. Go on.
But I was going to say,
go on.
They're still banging on about AJ and Wilder.
Well, there's no. Listen, I want to tell you this, guys. All those out there in boxing land listening to this, Max has finally taken his tongue out of Wilder's backside and admitted that if Joshua and Wilder met in the ring, Joshua would batter him. Did you not just say that? Fess. Yeah.
No.
And I've been saying, what do you mean, no? You did.
I didn't just say it, I said it earlier.
Yeah, as in today. Right, today. He's just admitted it today.
Oh, don't.
I want to ask you a question.
Right, come then.
Right.
Not too difficult.
Yeah, it's not going to be difficult, but it is going to be slightly controversial, guys. So, I want everybody's opinion on this. Conor Benn fighting in Las Vegas, 2:30 in the afternoon. What's that tell you?
Yeah, well, he's fighting at 2:30, so it's on at 10:30 UK time. Mm-hmm. So everyone in England can watch him fight. But I think you said it. There's only going to be about 30 people in the stadium watching it at that time.
Well, they'll be handing out free tickets to everybody in the casino, right? So let's lay it out on the line, right? Now, I love Conor Benn. I got massive respect for him. But listen,
Conor's going to win anyway, regardless what time he's fighting. He's going to win.
Yeah, but Eddie Hearn's spending a few quid out there to back it up, isn't he? You've sent George Ladoda's out there. You've got Johnny Fisher.
You've got the Essex boys out there, mate. Have you got Conor Benn?
We're not there. We're Essex boys.
All right, Jules Liddard and Jimmy Sains. Got the 4 Essex boys out there. Hopefully, there's 4 wins.
Yeah, right. So, Martin has asked you. I'd like to know your genuine thoughts on Benn. Come on.
Listen, I like Benn. The first day we ever met him in TW1s, Billy Witt was Jim. I was like, when we first said, I was like, oh my God, look, it's Conor over there. And when he come over and spoke to us, like off camera for like an hour and a half, I thought, yeah, what a genuine person. I thought, yeah, he's a nice fella. You know what I mean? That's my opinion, and that will still be my opinion, next year. I like Conor as a person, and I like him as a fighter as well. You know,
I mean, it's difficult to explain to you guys at home about how, once again, we're closer to a lot of these fighters than you'll ever be. So we see them quite often, and we have a friendly banter with them when we're off cameras as well. I mean, our show's a little bit different. We don't we're not out there to antagonise the area, but we will ask the questions. My honest opinion, I think, on Conor Benn is this, right? I think Conor Benn was very badly advised. Very badly advised. I would have told him to do things differently. Although when I did see him, I did tell him to do things differently. And my words of advice to Conor was these, and I'd share it with anyone. If you're innocent, my integrity would not allow me, and it didn't matter what it cost, to stand up there and go, yeah, I've done it, if I'm innocent.
Yeah.
But that's what I said to him. You were there. That's what I said to Conor. I said, Conor, I would stand up, and I understand where he's coming from, because you don't start to question what was chloroform or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. When you then start to question who's touched my drinks, whose hands have I shaked, what's been in food of it. But if you've actually gone to the lengths that Conor's gone to, down the egg route and all the rest of it. Look, my answer, what I would have said to Conor is, you put your hand in the air at this. As an athlete in professional boxing, you are responsible for everything in your body. You can't deny that it was in your body, okay? As we've seen with Alice Baumgartner, right? You couldn't deny that it was in your body. I would have put my hand and said, yes, It's obviously in there. It is a very tiny trace amount. I have no idea where it came from, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. But it was obviously in my system, but I don't know how. Yeah. Okay? The fact it's a tiny, tiny trace is irrelevant into the world of boxing, as it were. But if he'd have put his hand in the air and said, yeah, it's in there, of course, I'm not going to fight it all the way. I know it's there, and I don't know how it got there. This isn't a performance-enhancing drug that he's got a needle sticking out of his backside. This could have been from having sex with his missus, who may have been trying for a baby and been taking some sort of medication. This could have been from shaking somebody's hand. This could have been from having a drink that someone spiked at a pub thinking they were funny. Or it could have just, even in a restaurant, you don't know who's serving you water. You don't know someone's gone drip, drip. There's so much controversy in all the things. We're not talking a massive amount of issue here. Sorry, Martin, I will get to your questions. We're not talking about massive amounts of drugs in a system. If he'd have put his hand in the air right at the get-go and said, it is in there, and I'm going to fight heaven and earth to find out where it came from, this would be over, right? Nobody's calling the guy a drug cheat. It's not like he's stuck there with a needle in his leg. All those hardcore boxing fans who really understand the sport, the fact that you get flu, this guy can't even take a whole soother. Can't put a thing up his nose and sniff it to clear his nostrils. Can't do that. I mean, we take drugs. I mean, I've got a toothache hanging in here. I've had for 3 weeks since they've ripped the bloody tooth out. I've popped more pills than Eminem. Right, in the last 3 weeks. I mean, I wouldn't be able to fight for about 6 months, I'll tell you. I mean, they ask me what my blood type is, I go paracetamol. That's what it is at the moment, do you know what I mean? So I think, these are the things that kind of... And if he'd have done that, I would have advised him, if I was his advisor and I was his manager, and I was part of his management team, I would have said, Con, listen, mate, it's there. We can sit there fighting till the cows come home, okay, and then go and go. We're not talking about a major thing. Are you going to do what, 2-year ban? It's over. It would have been over by now. You would have had none of this trouble. You could have been fighting whoever back home instead of asking for permission to box and all this sort of stuff. And I would have said to him, "Go on, love you, man. Obviously, I do. I believe you're innocent and you haven't taken it deliberately. I believe that." But what you've got to do is you've got to be responsible for what's in you. It doesn't matter whether it's come from a rotten egg. Doesn't matter if it's come from a sexual experience with a partner who's trying to have a baby. Doesn't matter if you've shook someone's hand. Doesn't matter if you've gone up to, have a drink in a posh hotel in London and some smart-ass waiter has thought he's clever. Doesn't matter if someone's done deliberately done that sort of thing. But what you've got to admit is it was in the system. Do what they need to do and then fight your case while you're doing it to clear your name after the event. And what I'd say to people is like a parking fine, right? You get done for parking. If you don't pay this and you contest it, right, it'll go up and up and up and up and up. It's never going to get any better. So pay the fine, then fight to get it back. Right? That's the way I would do it. I know you're paying up front, but listen, this has cost this guy $500,000 at least.
Oh, yeah. What was it? 40 bags a month, wasn't it?
Well, that was it. That was it. It was a nightmare. But yeah, so let's talk about... So you're talking about the Conor Benn, and now we're talking about Baumgartner, who has now been cleared by the WBC for not knowingly taking a substance. So what does that say to any fighter out there right now? Oh, well, I didn't knowingly know it was it. Conor had the most tiniest... weren't even a 1 mil of a tablet in his system. And that's the problem. Like, someone's told him, say, Con, it can't be you, mate. It's got to be everything else around you. Yeah, that's right, Conor. You're right, it wasn't you. But what it was, is it was in your system. That's what it was. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. And I don't believe the man's a cheat. I don't believe his father was a cheat. After the Gerald McLennan fight, the news that came out about that, Nigel collapsed. No, you've got to know these people. You've got to spend time with these people to understand that, that. If I had said to you, Nigel's on coke, you would have gone, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because he would tell you himself, right? He would have said to himself, recreational and all the rest of it. Martin says, deniability, is that plausible? No, it's in your system. As an athlete, you are responsible for what is in your system. You've tested positive, and that is it. You must face the consequences. There's no rotten eggs or whatever. So you must have done that. And I would advise Conor to have took it. Said, I don't believe the guy's a cheat. He got caught with so much little in his system, it would have had absolutely no effect on him at all. Just ridiculous. So, but it's there, and that's the point. If the A and B samples tested the same, it's over. Hand up, nice in the air. Same problem Robert Hellenius, right? People calling him a cheat after the Anthony Joshua fight. He got laid out, right? So did Amir Khan, got laid out against Kell Brook, right? He got laid. You got knocked the F out, right? That's basically what happened. But he finished the... Sorry, guys, I'm talking about Baumgartner. That in that instance, simply saying, I don't know, gets you off the hook. No, she shouldn't. She shouldn't be getting off the hook. Baumgartner should be facing the same sanctions and punishments as Conor Benn. That should be it. This is where the sanctioning bodies, it's different in the commissions. So in the UK, the commission is one. It's the British Boxing Board of Control. I think there's another one I can't actually, but that's the main one, the British Boxing Board of Control. And in America, it's done on a state-by-state basis. So, but it should stop. It should be all for one for all, and it will nip all this stuff in the bud. She should not be getting off the hook. She should still face a ban. There should be, it's in your system. I don't care how it got there. It's this attitude. This is why I should run for the British Boxing Board of Control. Get rid of all them, because it'd be so easy. Conor comes stands before me and goes, I don't know how it's in my system. I said, yeah, mate, I don't know how it's in your system either. Furthermore, I don't really care. You're going to get a mandatory 2-year ban anyway. But, in that time and in that 2 years, find out how it got there and make sure it never happens again. It's hardly a drugs cheating thing. You're not sat there like Jarrell Miller with a needle hanging out your backside, pumping yourself full of steroids at being 350 odd pounds or whatever he weighed. Do you know what I mean?
Jarrell Miller.
Yeah. The guy didn't need to put any more power into his punches, did he? So I just think that this is the whole controversy of the drugs cheating sort of thing. We've had Tyson Fury go through it, Billy Joe Saunders has been through it, and there's going to be millions more and thousands like it. But there does need to be this no-nonsense...
because we talked about this before, didn't we? About the... And
Jarrell Miller, in my opinion, and I think Martin's talking about him, never ever fight again.
Listen, the testings, wasn't it? VADA and UCAD, right? UCAD picked nothing up. VADA did.
What does that tell you?
Right. If Conor had lots of substance in him, it would have been picked up by 2 different scientists
and
labs.
The VADA testing, which by the way Conor paid for, just let you know
which
that.
Which was voluntary
Anti-Doping Association. So he asked for it and paid for it. Found him to have stuff in his body. It was also the same company that found Dillian White.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got to ask yourself to this point. This is where the commissions should be, in order to gain a professional promotion or professional commission or whatever it is, contract.
Yeah.
What should change is there should now be a global boxing medical
we talked about
standard.
this a long time ago. There should be one recognised drug screening company that does absolutely everything.
Yeah, not just one company, but one exactly the same process. I do apologise, guys, for dirty hands I've been building today. One process that should always be kept in place that everybody has to adhere to if you're to pull on a set of professional boxing gloves. So
yeah, and also I asked a question a little while ago about while you're in camp. Say you're a fighter and you're in camp now. I'll put a question out. I think you should be drug tested week in, week out. What happened to your fight? Regardless how much it costs.
Yeah, but listen. Stop. That's all right on a world championship fight where there's big money.
It doesn't matter who you're fighting.
No. Let me explain the reason why it doesn't. On a big fight where there's world championships and big money at stake, that happens all the time. However, on a small hall boxing promotion, sort of a top tier promotion, TM14, Queensbury, Matchroom, small hall promotions, it isn't feasible or affordable to do that. You can't test two fighters at £20,000 a time.
Yeah, but then
6 to 8 weeks.
If you're doing that many tests, then the deal's got to go down.
Yeah, but listen, a world championship fighter.
So what you're saying is let a few fish slip through the net then?
No. Well, I'm not saying that you've got. No, I'm not saying you should let anybody fish in it, but I'm saying it's what's affordable.
Listen, there's enough money in boxing.
There is enough money in boxing.
All that affordable.
No, it's not.
Lies.
You just about swearing. It's not. Most of these fighters, and I'm going to break the news to a lot of these people that probably never ever heard this before. Most of these fighters, until you're fighting even at intermediate championships and things like that, are earning less than £20,000 a fight. Now,
even champions could earn less than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that. What you've got, what you need, is everybody is this. You're right, man. It would happen cross-contamination material. What you need is to develop a test similar to what happened with COVID, that you could have a lab guy go round and go, right, you're being tested now. Drag him, test him. Yeah? I'm sorry, mate. Look, what happens in something, I've got to stand there and watch you pee in a cup. That's it. I don't have to sit there. I've just got to observe you from the back so that I know you can't drag in. I've got to check that there's nothing there. You've got to pee in this cup. Lovely.
Yeah. Listen, when I used to work on the utilities years ago, right, I could be digging a hole, a welfare van, pull up, right, out the hole in here now. And you go in a little, basically sit there, flop it out, and they've literally got blue water in what you're weeing in, so you can't take the water out of that. It's done there and then, but they do about 20 geezers.
Yeah, but they're looking for they're only looking for about 10 substances. Sometimes these guys are looking for 10,000, and that's why it's just become such a massive cost. You wouldn't be able to afford to put a show on, so you wouldn't be given the opportunity to young fighters. What you need to do is we need to establish a one testing system that to say, look, this tests need to be passed. There needs to be, you need to sign up for it and pass a test kit and all the other rest of it and all. But you're not going to get that lower down the ranks. Frank Warren and obviously Eddie Hearn and Cowley Sutherland and all the other guys there, Sam Jones and all that, and all managers and promoters, and they're not going to pay for their fighters to have these tests done. Because it only really matters to people at the top echelons.
What if they went, right, it's mandatory, you've got to have them tested regularly every week? They weren't going to say, F off, I ain't paying for it.
No, they wouldn't. But it's not a case of they don't want to do that. Trust me, the British Boxing Board of Control, if the test cost £5, they would ensure that every fighter would have it 8 weeks, every week, up to the previous 8 weeks of the fight. Because it's only, what's it going to cost? £40. However, the fact it costs 40,000 per fighter. Well,
that's what we've been told.
Yeah, but it does.
Whether it is.
It does. It does. You've got to understand that there's only a few labs in the world that are able to do it. Yeah? There's only a few labs in the world that are sanctioned to do it. And
I can't believe
they actually
it cost
said
30 grand just for doing it.
You're not even letting me talk! Yeah, right, listen to this is what happens.
I think it's just ridiculous.
I know, I agree with you. I'm telling you what happens. So the lab will fly somebody. Somebody has to fly from wherever the lab is, let's say in LA. They have to fly to London. They have to collect samples. They have to send them, make them secure. They have to see the collection. Then they have to take them back. Then they have to come back and repeat that. Now, that's one person, let's say, doing 10 trips. Yeah, that's five journeys, 10 trips there and back, right? Understand, yeah?
Yeah. What's that? $5,000 at the worst ways.
No, it ain't. Because you've got to carry a secure product. There's a biological hazardous product. Back to the lab. It has to come back in a certain time. Then it has to go under test. And remember what they do is they take one urine sample and split it into an A sample and a B sample, right? So, and that's where you've got to send someone there. Then you've got to take it into the lab. Then it's got to get tested. And then it's got to go through a due process. And that's why it's so damn expensive. But until you're going to invent a substance or a swab that's able to check all these different products, you know, it's never going to happen. Now, I think what could happen is that there could be a steroid checking swab that's looking for recreational drugs, cocaine, cannabis, heroin, whatever, MDMA, all that other weird, wonderful stuff.
Listen,
but
with
it's
the
also
scientific engineering they've probably got that already.
Yeah, they probably have, but they're not going to give it away for £5.
Money doing it that way.
Yeah, well, why would I bother? I might as well just
carry on earning $30,000 a pop.
That's right. If you think that the sport of boxing, when you're up at the top, is anything other than that, that's it. It's all about the Benjamins. That's how we. As I'm quite. I'll tell you what. I'm going to actually quote that. So all I'm going to say that it's all about the Benjamins. That's it. I'm going to hashtag all about the Benjamins belongs to Fighters Talk TV. Anyway, let's move on next to the next one because I think people are getting bored with our drugs talk.
Yeah,
because I can't get any.
About Tank Davis turned down fighting in Saudi, and he's. I don't blame him. He wants to fight in England.
Yeah, come on, Tank. Yeah. We know.
What did he demand? 2 Ferraris, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you can't really blame him, can you? Really, 2 Ferraris.
But you know. Well, basically, my question for me bringing that up, is he foolish not to take a Saudi fight? Or do you think it's not about the money for him?
Listen, I'm gonna sort of divert off a little bit, right? Did you ever watch the film Batman: The Dark Knight?
No, I haven't, no.
Right, okay. So, in that film, there's one of a great British actor there, Michael Caine, who many people know, obviously. He said that in the olden days when he was working for the British Empire, he went into an African country and they were trying to bribe the chief of the village to give him information and intel and all the rest of it. And they were paying with rubies, right? That's how they were paying.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that when you were telling me I was kicking it down?
Down the street? They went back to have a look about what was going on, and they were kicking. These kids were kicking a ruby the size of a fist like a football down the street, and they were burning all the villages and everything. He said because some people don't care about money and they just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
And I'll say the same thing when it comes to certain fighters. Some fighters don't actually care too much about the money anymore. Tank Davis, after the Ryan Garcia fight, probably made an absolute bucket load of cash. And has probably since made a bucket load of cash. You know? Right, I just think that it's... I don't... His Excellency has done a wonderful job. Turki Al-Sheikh has done a wonderful job of putting on some of the fights that we knew we would never, ever, ever see, right? He has done a wonderful job. But my question, and I'd love people's feedback on this, is that now a detriment to boxing? And has Tank Davis been the first of many who are going to stand up and say, listen, Jordan Henderson went to Saudi Arabia, didn't like it, and he's come back. I ain't even going. Right?
Yeah, it cost a few quid and all.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a little question. Roy Jones Jr. is saying, this popped up, that Bud Crawford is ducking Boots Ennis. saying that Boots Ennis was going to be Bud's most difficult fight.
Oh, don't know.
I want your opinion on this, Andy. And anyone else who wants to comment, tell me straight. Shut up. Don't what you're talking about.
You don't know shit about boxing. Do you know what? I mean, that's the glorious thing about being. Yeah, I was, because the glorious thing about being a fan is the glorious thing is I actually don't care if Bud Crawford wins. I actually don't care. I like personalities in the sport. I like Tank Davis. I like Ryan Garcia. I like Andy Ruiz. I love Alexander Usyk. I like Tyson Fury. I like Anthony Joshua. I like Johnny Fisher. I can tell you a million guys that I like, right? And I can also tell you a million guys I couldn't give a monkey's about.
Yeah.
Okay. This is. Martin put a great point there. He says, hey, maybe, but Bud is staring at legacy with this Canelo fight. He can come back again for Boots, right? Oh, yeah, good. Yeah.
But my question now to Martin is Crawford jumping up 3 weight divisions to take on Canelo a bit too much?
No. Listen,
Amir Khan already said something last year. Be careful what you wish for to Bud Crawford,
Yeah, but Khan was on a receiving end of a Canelo right hand.
Listen, right? When Canelo sparks out Khan, Canelo knew he hurt him because he come back, knelt down on the floor, make sure he's all right, just in case he killed him.
Yeah, well,
and he's never done that before, has he, Canelo? Normally he sparks the man, walks off, but it's just the way his arms dropped.
I like Canelo, right?
Yes.
However, I think it would be a different story because, as Martin's just said, and I totally agree with Martin here, Bud ain't Khan, right?
No,
and Canelo is coming to the end of a very, very long fight career that started when he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
A very, very long fight career.
But what I'm getting at is jumping up 3 weights, you're not going to be the same as you were 3 weights lower. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends if you can keep your speed, right? I mean,
exactly that. When you're
as powerful a fighter as Bud Crawford is.
Yeah, but is he going to be as powerful and as fast and agile going up that way? I mean, I know that.
Yeah, I think he is.
Well, I'm not as quick. I've jumped up probably 2 stone, and I ain't as quick as I used to be.
Yeah, but you're 43.
Yeah, well, even when I was in my 20s and I was hitting 19.5 stone, I knew I was slow. That's why I lost like 3 stone.
Well, but you're not a professional athlete. But I think it. Yeah, but I was for me, anything, I think I would give that a genuinely 50-50 fight. I would like to see him against Ennis Boots, maybe after, but I think the Canelo fight comes first. Do you know why? Because Canelo's such a great champion and never ducked anyone and all the rest of it. You said to me, I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week, do you think he should go back and fight Bivol? And I said no, because he's too heavy. When you start throwing your bombs, right, and they are bouncing off the other guy's chin, and they aren't putting him down, and everybody else, they would take their head clean off.
Yeah.
You've got to ask the question: is he too big? Right. I mean, I remember when I was boxing, there was me, big ass neck like that. I'm going to show people. I'm going to find that picture and show you what I looked like when I was fighting, right? And I'm only a short heavyweight fighter, but I had big neck, big strong, really big guy. And you have to sort of understand that there is a limit, right, to what you can take, to what the power you can throw. And if you're not throwing at that sort of weight, do you know what I mean? And what you are throwing is bouncing off the guy's temple. You know that you've got a slight issue to be sort of contending with.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney.
Right.
You know, is this fight going to happen?
Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talks about happening, not happening. You know, it's Garcia's fault, it's Haney's fault.
It's
You
the
know,
money, isn't it? I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about boxing. I mean, you can probably say that the money will sort of
listen,
cure that
there's
slight
big
problem.
money. There's big money for both fighters. You know, we all know Ryan pulls in a crowd, and so does Haney's.
Well, yeah, but it's who's got to front the cash up first. Do you know what I mean? That's what they're looking at. Who's going to front the cash up, and then sort of take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a fight I'd like to see.
But that one could also end up, possibly end up over there in Saudi.
Inside, yeah. Perhaps that's what they're hanging out for. Because this has been going ongoing since last year at some point. So perhaps that's
Yes.
what they're waiting for. You know, what we do, we just go back and forth for a while, you know, in his ecstasy, might just say, "Well, look, get over here, boys.
Well, I'll
There's
put
un-
it. That, that's
there's 100 million on the table to fight over how much you're getting each."
well, that's very likely. That's very very likely. I believe not lucky against. Yeah, does anyone actually believe Haney is that good? I believe he got lucky against Lomachenko. He knew it
Listen, I've said that from
and
the
jumped
start.
up in weight to get away from that rematch. That's very possible. That is very, very possible. I'll tell you what I want to tell people, actually, while we're talking about Lomachenko, while we're going there. Now, we helped, guys and girls, we helped a guy called Mickey Move, a dear friend of mine. He's got a foundation called the Streetwise Foundation, guys. It helps donate equipment from places like BoxFit, like Will Jones has helped some of the UK clubs, and BoxFit are helping some of the Ghanaian clubs for these kids who have absolutely nothing. So we helped him with his foundation. We're going to release a documentary about that. And he gave me a glove, signed glove, didn't he, from Richard Comey. So guys, if you don't know who Richard Comey is, you can go there. He's Richard Comey's manager. And he gave me a signed glove from Richard Comey that had actually been bouncing off Lomachenko's face. So
Yeah.
I've got his right hand glove that he'd been smacking around Lomachenko with. And I was so proud, so happy, and very thankful that Mickey gave that to me. Sorry, mate, go on, carry on as you were. I was just wanted to say thanks to Mickey about that the other day.
Yeah, no, you've totally lost me now after that.
Well, that's all right, weren't important enough. It was only a sort of Bud Crawford. No,
Oh yeah,
we'd moved over, didn't we?
yeah. Right, what about Romero versus Cruz for the end of March in Las Vegas? What do you reckon on this fight? Is this the fight what everyone want to watch? You know what I mean? Rolly Romero defending his 140 belt.
I think so. I think everyone wants to watch that sort of fight. Anyway, do you know what I was saying about how big I was as a teenager? Do you want to see it? I think you've seen it, haven't you?
I've seen it hundreds of times now.
I know. Look, if you want to see traps like you've never seen before on a teenager, there you go. That's what I used to look like when I was fighting. It sounds horrible bastard. And then I thought I'd take a funny picture. Look.
Look like you escaped nutter.
I tell you, the training that went in to produce things like that, I tell you, massive. Right, anyway. Yeah, I think any sort of rematch, or any sort of championship match, sorry, is always going to be in the interest of people. But it's got to be competitive.
Yeah, but it's got, obviously, rematching people, they've got to be interested in the rematch in the first place.
Mm.
You know, like the Fury Wilder, the third fight, was people really interested in that?
Oh well, it was.
I do know there was a trilogy fight. Well, I know everyone was interested in. That was Gatti and Wald.
Yeah, which is available on fttvboxing.com. Yeah. Go there and watch all the Gatti Ward fight. Yeah, all three.
Yeah,
of them.
Listen, that is war for three different fights. War. Yeah. They listen. They've just slugged it out in the middle of the ring at one of their fights. It's brilliant.
Well, I don't know, mate. I don't know. So, any other news you want to debate with me about that's interesting?
Nah.
No.
No. I can't. Nothing's popping up at me. I'm trying to scan quickly.
Okay, well, I'll finish off then, guys. So once again, thank you very much, Max, for joining me today. Next week's events coming up. There's going to be, you know, a big fight in Las Vegas at lunchtime. No, I just, you know, hopefully Connor does the business, and obviously the guys from Essex there, Jimmy Sains, George Lillard, Tony Fisher.
Old Dobson has said he's going to have Connor on his knees, didn't he? Begging or something like that, wasn't it?
He ain't going to have Connor on his knees, is he?
Well, that's what he's put. He said
Connor's an animal.
Yeah. We'll know that, but I just thought I'd just give
He's only saying that because but what's he going to say? What is he going to say when Connor puts him into the third row? I mean, it's just you know, you should actually be coming in and say, look, I'm going to try really hard, but
yeah.
Sorry, guys, I keep moving around. I'm flinging around. So if anyone wonders what it is, look at that. There's some boxing memorabilia there. If you wonder what all that is, I'm mad nut with it. But once again, thanks very much for joining us here on Fighters Talk TV Live. Do not forget to go and check out Cornbread with FTTV30. Get 30% off your first order. Also, download our app, which is down here. And I just scan that QR code. It's free to use. Doesn't cost you a copper coin. Vote on who you think's won a fight. Watch some of the old classic fights. And also go to fttvboxing.com. And you will be able to join in our free, no adverts TV network. All dedicated to boxing documentaries, fights, and whatever you do. So once again, thanks to my good pal, close friend of over 20, 30, 40 years, however long it's been now, Max. And we will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bosh. I don't give a shit about that. Once again, they don't know shit. So listen. No, he didn't. He was nowhere near there. It was no.